Hello, our dear listeners. This is Addis Hunat. In this program, we present you about international relation and contemporary global issues. The concept or defining international relation is by itself contested and differs from time to time. The definition of international relation is also very wide. The concept international by itself contains two important terms, inter and nation. The first word is inter and the second one is nation. Inter refers to relations among many or between two actors, and nation implies two states or country. Therefore, international relation refers to a totality of relation not only between states and non-state actors, but also all types of movements that cross state boundaries to include international rivers. So, international relation can be defined in different manners. Let's take Goldstein. He defines IR as relationship among the world's national governments. IR is therefore concerned with all exchange, transactions, contacts, flow of information, and actions of every kind among the separately constituted societies of the world. As can be seen, the study of IR is extensive and various schools of thought have been developed to attempt an explanation of the subject. International relation is also a branch of political science, and it is the study of foreign affairs and relations among sovereign states within the international system, including the roles of non-state actors like intergovernmental organizations or IGOs, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, multinational corporations or MNCs, churches, mosques, political parties, big cities, individuals, ethnic groups. So, international relation, which is a branch of political science, studies about foreign affairs or foreign relations where states make with other states. Here you have to understand that the states have to be sovereign with an international system. The system is built of different triangulations. This can be discussed later. These relations are on political, economic, cultural, technological, and other interaction by governmental and non-governmental actors. Particular areas of studies within the field of IR include diplomacy and diplomatic history, international law, international organizations, international finance and economics, communications, among others. Earlier, international relation gave prominent attention to political relationships such as war, alliance, diplomacy, and trade relationship between and among nations. In contemporary IR or international relation, however, deals with multifaceted interactions among governmental and non-governmental actors or a wide-ranging issues ranging state security to global poverty reduction and the environment. Contemporary international relation is also characterized by a dramatic multiplicity of actors like multinational corporations, intergovernmental organizations, international civil society movements, and others. All in all, it can be said that international relation includes a wider range of interactions among states and non-state actors, among others. Political relation, economic relation, cultural relation, social relation can be mentioned. Let's see them one by one. Political relation involves peaceful as well as non-peaceful relation among governments. For example, conflict and cooperation, wars and peace. Diplomatic relation can be comprised in political relation. The economic relation can be expressed or can be a relation that is trade, investment, mutual development, foreign aid, loan, common market, currency exchange, tariff, or other issues of cooperation, competition, and integration. The cultural relation can be interaction between or among states, like in cultural exchange such as music and art, sports and linguistic, or religious issues, heritage protection. And the last one is social relation, includes educational exchange like scholarship, tourist flows, visits, health matters, immigration and refugee affairs. The scopes of international relations are different. International relations as a field of study deals with the following issues in its inquiry, explanation, and research. Resources can affect the international relation of states and is one scope of the study of this academic discipline. For example, oil, international rivers, waterways, and all resource-related issues, etc. International organizations like the United Nations, African Union, European Union, IMF, ASEAN, World Bank, and others are organizations which are part of the scope of international relations. International or interstate treaties refers to international law, international agreements and protocols, pacts, alliances, and their implementation, supervisions, management of conflicts, peace building, state intervention in the internal affairs of others, etc. Diplomatic relation refers to all ambassadorial interactions, negotiations, compromises, arbitrations, conciliations, reconciliations, consular establishments, citizen issues, etc. The global issues that attract the attention and common interests of states and people of different countries like environmental hazards, global warming, the depletion of ozone layer, deforestation, etc. Other issues like women's rights, human rights, children's rights, international terrorism, drug trafficking, money laundering are also global problems which need global solutions. Developing various theories, principle, approach. In order to scientifically explain international relations and the fundamental law that governs all types of relations, we need developing various theories, principles, and approaches. All in all, as a dynamic field of study, international relations is open-ended to explain and study new and complex interstate relations that occur every time. The scope of international relations is very broad, which includes economic, social, political, cultural, and other transnational relations between or among state and non-state actors. In terms of methods of analysis, contemporary international relations doesn't limit itself to discussion of raw military power. It instead uses a multidisciplinary approach which incorporates or includes politics, economics, decision-making, theories, geopolitics, and others. At the beginning of the 21st century, international relations includes such subjects as gender, environment, and international civil society movements, in addition to its traditional domains of power and diplomacy. So, what is the evolution of modern state system? Where does the modern state system emerge from? Let's see it. The Westphalian Peace Treaty or the 1648 Peace Treaty is the beginning of the modern state system. In detail, you will have the evolution of modern state system in the next video. When we compare the human history, the state is the creation of modern age. The state in its modern form didn't emerge until about the 17th century. The history of international relations is often traced back to the Peace of Westphalia of 1648. Modern state system was developed. Westphalia encouraged the rise of the nation-state and the institutionalization of diplomacy and armies. This particular European system was exported to America, Africa, Asia via colonialism. The Peace of Westphalia is marked as the following. 1. The end of devastating 30 Years' War in Europe. 2. Inaugurated the modern European state system. 3. The framework of an international system of nation-state. 4. The end of religious warfare and the Holy Roman Empires as an effective institution. 5. The beginning of modern state system. 6. The present system of international politics. What are the attributes of modern state? What is the state? The state is the political entity that possesses people, territory, government, sovereignty, and recognition. So let's see these four terms: people, territory, government, sovereignty, and recognition. So population will be the beginning. Population refers about people who are in a given territory. people are an obvious requirement of any state. As you know, countries contain or comprise people. The size of population is not as important as the degree to which the society is willing and able to work furthering of its cumulative interest. The size of population of states ranges from a few thousands to China's or India's billions. The second is territory. Defined territory is indispensable to the existence of the state. States are territorial units. The control of territory is the essence of a state. The third is government. Government is the agent that acts in the name of the state to promote and safeguard the interests of its population and maintains its territorial boundaries. Fourth, sovereignty denotes the supreme and final legal authority over and beyond no further legal power exists. This supreme power applies both to domestic as well as to foreign matters of the state. It comprises the ideal legal equality among states. The fifth one is recognition. Recognition is a state existence. A state should be recognized by the international community. So we have here state, nation, and nation-state to be differentiated. Let's see it. State, nation, and nation-state differentiated. The terms state, nation, and nation-state are usually used interchangeably in discussion of international relations. Technically, however, these terms have different meanings. Nation. A nation is a large group of people who are bound together because of their language, culture, history, etc. They recognize similarity among themselves because of a common culture, heritage, language, religion, and race. In particular, a common language seems important in creating nationhood. Generally, many states and nations do not coincide or match. Nation is a psychological fixation. Nations do not necessarily coincide with the political boundaries. Nations may exist without territorial control. For example, the Jewish nation was established before 1947. So, what is a state? The state is a geographically bounded entity governed by central authority that has the ability to make laws, rules, and decisions, and it is able to enforce those laws, rules, and decisions within its boundary. The state is a legal entity recognized under international law. It is recognized as a fundamental decision-making unit of the international legal system. For instance, international law recognizes state as international person having rights and obligations. In the Latin maxima, it is called the legal persona. In the United Nations membership, it is given to a state, not to any particular government. So, what is nation-state? Refers to a state whose inhabitants consider them to be a nation. It is geographically bounded legal entity under a single government, population of which psychologically considers it to be in some ways, shape, or form related. Modern states are commonly called nation-states even though they are not. For example, the boundaries of most African states are colonial-made. In most cases, many ethnic groups are included in one country. Such countries that include which large percentage of more than one nationality are states, not nation-states. Here again, let's see the difference between nationalism and internationalism. Nationalism is an ideology which claims supreme loyalty from individuals for the concept of nation and the state that represents. As such, nationalism brings together the concepts of state, nation, and nation-state. Nationalism developed the division or the grouping they and we, or they and we group thinking. Nationalism makes us to see ourselves as essentially different from other nationalities. Nationalism can also lead people to ascribe superiority to others to themselves over the others. Nationalism creates a desire to control and exploit other people, their territories, and their wealth. Nationalism promotes the idea of self-interested sovereignty. Nationalism has served as powerful force in striving for independence by nations that were formerly under colonial control or other external dominations. Nationalism blocks the path to a global consciousness and loyalty or global citizenship. So, nationalism involves to kill or to die. Therefore, the evolution of nationalism and the development of the state-centric international system are intimately intertwined or interconnected. Nationalism in new states is stronger than older countries. Internationalism. Nationalism is now fading and becoming less important in the Western world politics. However, in the Eastern Bloc, it is growing. The reason is that the increasing interdependence or due to globalization. The benefits from cooperative efforts such as common market and from the large number of governmental and non-governmental activities that crosses national boundaries. The broad range of activities is what we refer to here as internationalism. So, internationalism is closely related to the following points. 1. Interdependence. 2. Globalization. 3. Transnationalism. Mobility and access are replacing the old-rooted, isolated existence of mankind from one of the globe to the other. We are drawn together by interconnectedness and advancement and improvement in transport, communication, and information, as well as economy and political factors change the globe into small village. Both nationalism and internationalism can be seen as significant forces in world affairs, and many developments can be seen as being example of one or the other. So here we summarize it. Thank you for listening. We will meet you in the next video. In the next video, we're going to present for you theories of international relation. Thank you for listening. We are here to provide about international relation.